are live. Welcome to Late Night with Light. I am your host, OJ Light, and tonight, I want to talk about my history with the good looking losers, and it kind of goes into the identity crisis theme I have in the title. Okay, so um, I think this is actually a pretty important issue. Um, it's like a lot of people just don't know who they are. Okay, and I kind of want to go through kind of like the background of who I am, how I came up, because I think it kind of gives me a really strong identity. Right, I know who I am, but I only know who I am because of the tribe that I have come to associate with. Okay, so that's kind of what we are going to be talking about tonight. Because I know a lot of people who, well, we'll get into it. We'll get into it because so let me kind of get into the history, right? Let me get into the history. So let's start pre. Let's start pre 2007, 2006, because those are my high school years. Okay, those are my high school years, and there's like three things I'm coming out of high school with, right? Three real experiences that I think are gonna shape. There's several actually. There's probably five that are gonna shape my the rest of my life, right? This is where the identity starts forming. Your identity does start forming in high school. I think this is why a lot of people talk about high school like it's some golden era. To be honest, my golden era has always occurred outside of schooling. Okay, my golden era did not occur within schooling. So I do not look back at my high school years with fondness. I don't look at it with complaint, but I don't look on it with fondness. So let me kind of go into a couple things. Five episodes I can think of that happened in high school. So first of all, when I went into high school, parents split up. That happens a lot, right? So it kind of shaped my dynamic a bit because it's not a good divorce. A lot of conflict, a lot of anger, some really shitty behavior on both parts. So it kind of in a way, de-idolized my parents for me, right? The second thing is my brother started forming substance addiction in high school. Okay, and this carried on until the rest of his life. Okay, um, this started there too, right? So this kind of shaped me, right? I at a very young age understood. Okay, I'm very libertarian in my thinking. Like I think people should have the power and the freedom to pursue what they want. But I also, on the other hand, have seen what drug addiction does to people. I've seen it. I've seen how it destroys people. Okay, so I kind of see both sides of the argument. So that's two. Now let's kind of get into like the things about me personally, right? These are external. Let's talk about some more personal things. So growing up, I had or have still a speech impediment. This is why I have a little bit of an accent, right? I had to take speech therapy in order to overcome it. So I have a little bit of an accent. However, a lot of people in school picked up on this, and there was a lot of mockery. So this kind of made me feel like a social outcast. Okay, and as we go down this list, I'm gonna keep becoming more and more of a social outcast. Okay, but this really isolated me from the majority. This 100% isolated me from the majority, right? Because of this, I could no longer become popular, okay? Or I shouldn't say it like that. There would always be animosity. There's always like mockery, okay? Regardless, kids are kids. I'm not holding that against anyone. That's just a reality. Now, in high school, though, because of this separation, I really became aware of tribal thinking. Okay, this is where I'm first coming to realize there's such thing as tribal thinking. Okay, you will hear a phrase from me time to time, referring. I talk about I am not a child of Babel. Okay, that for those who don't understand the idea behind that, that's I'm not. I'm part of a tribe, but I'm not really into tribal thinking. Okay, and we're gonna get in. So let me phrase it. Tribal thinking is this, guys. Tribal thinking is where you want everyone in your immediate group to think like you and behave like you and have the same goals as you and accomplish these goals in the same methodology as you would. Okay, that's okay. And if they do not violate any of these rules, you violently expel them. You make them conform or you expel them. That is tribal thinking. Okay, and I fundamentally reject that. What I am, I don't doubt that there's different tribes, right? But I do think there's some. It's good to have some variety within a tribe, so that things don't become like an echo chamber. Like if you ever heard like they belong to an echo chamber, they're really saying they belong to a tribe. Okay, so this is where I'm coming to understand that this is a thing, right? I remember cliques, like high school cliques. That's tribal thinking, okay? That's people starting to really understand the tribal aspect of life, okay? And adults do this too. Politics, that's tribal thinking. Sports teams, that's tribal thinking. This is a big thing, okay? But I'm actually becoming aware that this is a thing. Like I'm not just I'm realizing that this is a thing. A lot of people don't realize that tribal thinking is a thing. I'm seeing it. It's like I'm outside of it, looking at it. So I become aware of this. Now the last thing. Now this is where I really understood tribal thinking. Okay, this is where I really understood tribal thinking. Right. So first, I'm a little bit exiled from some people because I have a speech impediment. Though not everyone. I'm gonna say it. I'm kind of making it sound dramatic. It's probably not as bad as, but this next one, this is when I really got the concept of it. So in high school, I knew as early as high school that I wanted to have threesomes. I knew it. And how I knew this was I went to a rock concert and I saw a guy with two girls, and both girls were kissing the guy. It was obvious what was going on. And I didn't think that was bad or evil. I was like, I want that. Okay? That's how I came. And I told somebody this. I was like, I want to get a girlfriend, and I want to have a girlfriend. Me and her will have threesomes with other girls. And the guy slapped me. He slapped me and told me that was evil, that was wrong. I don't remember everything else he said, and that I shouldn't want that. And this was the first time I really understood tribal thinking. Really understood it. Okay? So I kind of felt like, and I felt wrong, right? I felt wrong. I felt not good. I felt like an outsider, okay? So anyways, I get out of high school, okay? So we're going to move on now post high school, right? So we are coming out of high school believing that I am an outsider. And that I can never, and I did feel like that. I felt like felt like I didn't quite fit in with any group. Okay, I still feel like that a little bit these days. Not as much, but I do feel like that a little bit these days. So, let's moving on. 2007. Okay, so I'm out of high school. I am trying to, I don't really know, like, you're thrust into the world, you don't really know what the fuck's going on, and I start getting family pressure, right? And I get family pressure from, this is what the family wants, they want me to buy a house, and start a family. They want this. They want me to want this. They want me desperately to want this. In fact, they think it is. They don't even consider that this is an even. How to put this? The thought of me even wondering if I really want this, that is outside of the scope. It is. This is an automatic. This is not even. The idea that this could be an option is not even a consideration, right? And there's tension. There's tension because guess what? I don't get a house and I don't start a family. Now here's the kick. I did want a house, but at the time I just did not have the credit for it. Looking back, this might have been a blessing, but at the time I just didn't have the credit for it because I didn't like. I learned early on that buying things for credit was not good. I learned that. I don't really remember where I got the lesson from, but I just kind of, I guess, instinctively knew living on credit was no good. Like, I didn't want to put 20% down on a house. I wanted to put like 40, 50, 60 down on the house because I didn't want the debt. Right? I didn't want the debt. I knew debt was probably because when you're only making like, say, $400, $500, $600 a week starting out. I don't remember what my starting wage was. And then they tell you, yeah, you're gonna owe us $200,000. That gives you some perspective. You're like, oh man, that's gonna take me a long time to pay off. I don't know about that. Okay, and if people say 30 years, you're like, man, I can't envision myself in 6 months. 30 years seems pretty long, right? So I did not get a house, and I did not start the family. And there was some, again, very tribal and violent reaction to this, which kind of ended in a stalemate. I killed their dreams for me. Let me say that again. I killed my family's dreams for me, okay? But in return, they kind of killed my self-confidence. They said some things to me that hurt and really made me start self-doubting myself. Okay, so that's about 2007. So now we're going to move into the 2008, 2009 era. Okay, and this is when I discovered two things. What this channel is about: the gym and the bathmate. I don't really remember which one I learned about first, to be completely honest. I knew this. I was not happy with the way my body looked. I want to say I was overweight, but I looked plain. I didn't look good. Okay, I knew that. I didn't look good. Okay, a lot of acne. I guess a little bit of a gut. No muscle. I just did not look good. Okay, and this will hurt my confidence even more. And I decided to. I don't remember which one it was. I don't remember which one I found first. The gym, I remember a coworker went to a gym and they recommended I go, and they said, I think you'd really like it. So I joined. And yeah, the rest is history, right? I'm not saying I've been the best in my years. It only took recently have I really been able to bring all my past mistakes together to get really good results. But probably could have got there sooner. I could have probably been there in half the time if I really buckled down. But I started going. I like it. I like doing the cardio. I like meeting the people. That's really what made me enjoy the gym. It was for the first time I felt like I belonged. I was like, oh my God, I like lifting weights, and there's other people here that like lifting weights. So I felt like a commonality, right? Okay. And then the second thing is I learned about the bathmate. Now I don't know. I don't know which happened first. I can't remember if I joined the gym and then learned the bathmate, or if I heard the bathmate and then I joined the gym. I don't remember exactly, but it's about the same era. And the bathmate, how did I find that? So I was not happy with my erection size. Was not happy. So I started looking like, how can you make it bigger? And this led me to a couple sites. Eventually, I don't know which site I found the Bathmate on, but I found it. I found it and I bought it. And I remember my first time. I was a little freaked out the first time I used the Bathmate. Real freaked out. But again, that happened, and that kind of became like those two things became like a staple for my life. Gym life, Bathmate. They became a staple. Okay, so let's kind of move on to the 2010, 2011 era. Okay, so eventually, I discover PUA, okay, pickup artistry, and this did not help. It was entertaining. I learned a lot, but it did not help with me getting better with women. Okay, not directly. It does help later. And I went from forum to forum to forum. And the reason that how guys are so fucking complicated, it's so fucking, it was just so weird. Not weird, like I liked it, some of it, but some of it was just weird. Okay, some of it was really fucking weird. And some of it was good. And I kind of wasn't sure what was good and what was weird and what was, you know what I mean? I didn't really know. And trust me, the gym life thing was not really big into it. Like some people are not into that, so I kind of felt like an outsider. But part of it felt natural. And eventually, I met somebody named through the forums named Black Dragon. He goes by Caleb Jones these days. Okay, he has a YouTube channel. I watch his stuff still. And Caleb, okay, I was on his forum. He used to have a PUA forum, and I said I am into lifting weights and using the bathroom. Okay, and they told me, I think Caleb or one of Caleb's guys told me, you should go to Chris's website at goodlookingloser.com. Okay, and this is how I came to Good Looking Loser, right? Because they said they cater to that. They cater to that. You're already into that. So you might as well go there. And to there, I went. And I gotta say, it was such a phenomenal site. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen before. Never seen anything like it before. It's such a phenomenal site. His big things, and we're gonna go over some of the stuff he teaches here in a minute. But the reason it was so different from other PUA sites is the picture proof. The picture, like, you had to have proof. You had to have proof. You couldn't just make a claim. You had to back it up with evidence, real evidence. Okay, and that was the first time I ever seen something like that, and it was way hardcore. It was way more hardcore than normal PUAs. And we're gonna really talk about, and this really cemented my identity. They really cemented my identity. Actually, there's two things that happened in the 2012, 2013 era. First, I discover Good Looking Loser. Okay, and it changes me as a person. It changes me. Okay. Now I'm like, now I understand. The second thing it does, the second thing that happened is I start taking salsa lessons. Okay, start taking salsa dance lessons, and this is the second thing that changed me, because now I am, how to put it, I'm really finding my identity here. I'm really coalescing. I'm really starting to put things together. Okay. And this starts to help, because I am at this point a very damaged person, in the sense of, I don't know how to word this. It's like, I feel like I was fucking retarded in my early 20s. Like, things just didn't happen, right? My God, people I know are making money and buying houses. This isn't happening for me. People are hooking up with girls and having relationships. This is not happening for me. And I felt like something was missing. Like, I'm like, why do I feel like this is not attainable for me? Why do I feel like I am, in a way, exiled from this life? Okay, and I when I just discovered Good Looking Loser, what it really taught me, the thing it taught me was that I was in the minority of people in the way I think, what I wanted out of life. I was in the minority. Okay, And because I was in the minority, I was not going to be able to get the things that the majority had, and they were never going to get the things I had. They were separate worlds. There might be some overlap goals here and there, but ultimately they are separate worlds. Okay, like example, most people are not going to have a six pack. Almost everyone on Good Looking Loser had a six pack. Maybe not everyone, but a good chunk of them. Most people are not going to have a lot of women in their life. A lot of the guys in Good Looking Loser got 100 babes. Most people are not going to be a millionaire. I don't know everyone, but I know two people that were on that forum that both be called, no, wait, three people that became multi-millionaires, and I know a fourth one from that forum that is well on his way to becoming a multi-millionaire. Okay? So this stuff was happening. Okay, this stuff again, and they are so radically different from everyone else. So it's just we're light years apart, and I've realized that this is good for me. This is good for me. Okay, but I'm still somewhat. I don't want to say brainwashed, but I have habits. So it's like this. I have goals that I want. I wanted the Good Looking Loser goals, right? But I had the habits of the majority because that's who I hung out with. So there's conflict, and it took a long time to get rid of those habits, longer than it probably should have. But we got there. Okay, so we joined the Good Looking Loser forum. I joined. I'm exposed to a bunch of shit, and I'm gonna just give you a couple things that I learned from that site. Okay. So the first thing I learned is you got to take massive action, and Alex Hormozi says the same thing. Okay, you got to take massive action. You got a problem, massive action, violence, a violent amount of action. This is what you got to do. Just action, action, action. Okay. Of course, it helps you know what actions to take. Okay, but you got to be once you know the thing to do, you got to do a lot of it, right? So that's the first thing. Massive amount of action. And the second thing it really taught me was accountability comes from proof. Okay? Accountability comes from proof. If you're not willing to show proof, then you need to be held accountable. Okay? So if you make a claim and you can't back up this claim, you should be shit on. Okay? This is why I do not post lay reports, because I don't have any pictures. Okay? So I don't have the proof to back up any claims I make. So, that's the second thing I learned. The third thing I learned from them is there's a particular path, a 1, 2, 3 step path forward. Okay? And the path is this: 6-pack, 100 lays, cash millionaire. That order. Okay? Now, we could argue that some people have done it out of that order, and that's fine, but if you're at 18 years old, you're not going to become a millionaire. So get the 6-pack, and then get the women, and then once that's done, get the $1 million. And then you go do whatever the fuck you want. Okay? That's the third thing I got from him. Okay? Now, Chris's website was really about, if I was to sum it up, who it's for, who is it for, and what the problem is. It was, and that's kind of like the play on this video, because it's kind of an homage to him. It was teaching penis pumping gym bros how to get laid. That's what he was doing. That's what he was doing. Okay, that's his thing. The problem I'm more tackling, guys, is more of a spiritual one, more of a confidence one, more of a grandiose picture of it, right? I'm kind of looking back on it, okay? And now we're going to kind of get into the number 4 thing I learned from him, and that's really the identity part, okay? So I'm going to say there is 3, and this is the part you might want to get a pen and paper for. So there's three circles that are overlapping. You can kind of see like 1, 2, 3 circles here. Okay. So I'm gonna explain it. So the first circle, guys, okay, is being the penis pumping gym bro. Okay, that's what a lot of this channel, a lot of the videos I am making are about. Okay, that's really the subject matter I am tackling. But that's really not the whole picture of what I'm doing. It's not really the whole picture. It's just the sphere I'm really concentrating on. Okay, the second sphere that makes up what I would call a good-looking loser is the pursuit of women. Okay, with a screening mentality. Okay, so here's the difference between pickup artists and what Chris taught. Okay, pickup artists, their methodology was trying to get the girl to like them. Okay, like it's more of a slow game. Chris's methodology was not really about that game. What he was trying to teach is, does the girl like you, and is she down to have sex with you? That's it. She might not even not like you. She's just down to have sex with you. Yet find out as soon as possible, and if it's a no, move on to the next girl. That is his mentality, screening mentality. Okay, I did take a few things from the PUA. There was a couple things from them I really liked, but Chris's attitude is just simply go up, be aggressive, find out if there's something that can happen. If not, leave. No reason to waste time. Okay, because his attitude is she might be willing to fuck you in 2 weeks from now, but tonight is a no. Okay, so don't waste your time on it. Okay, his methodology is cut through the time wasters, to cut through the wasters, right? Now there's nothing wrong. I'm not gonna say there's nothing wrong with chatting up a girl for a little bit. That's I'm not gonna sit here and say some guys take it to the extreme. Like if she's not in bed with you in 5 minutes, move on. I'm not that extreme. I don't think there's anything wrong with taking a little bit of time, but Chris's point is basically don't be wasting hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and days and weeks and months on a girl that's never gonna fuck you. That's basically what he was teaching, right? So he's a very heavy screening mentality, right? And I actually have adopted this screening mentality into other areas of my life, right? Like sometimes if people say stuff that I know, like if I'm doing something and they hinder me in any way, they gotta go. They got to go. They got to go. Okay? I'm not gonna say so. It's a very good mentality to have in general. Okay? But that's basically what he that's basically what he teaches. If I was really to explain what I do, I would have to say you would have the screening mentality, with a lot of touch and a little bit of persuasion, a little bit of charisma in it. So that's two. That's the second sphere, right? So you are a gym bro, and you have a screening mentality. Okay, that's the second thing I learned from Chris. Now the third thing, and he was never able to develop this part of his website, was the skill of marketing, right? So he never really developed that part of the website, but that is something he was going to do, and he actually, if I remember right, he did recommend some resources. But that's like the three spheres, guys. You're learning how to build the body, get the babes, make the money, right? That was the whole sphere of a good-looking loser. Okay, the website I came up on, right? So that was the fourth thing I got from that site, was that those three spheres of influence. Okay, and then the last thing I got from that site, and I kind of worded it like this. He was always saying don't seek comfort, find the discomfortable. Comfort kills. I'm sure if you've been around, you've heard something like that. Uh, I have a different saying. It's called seek the pain. So generally speaking, generally speaking, um, if there's something you want to do in life, and whatever the most painful road it is to get there, that's probably the road you should take. Okay, so I call it seek the pain because usually people seek the non-painful route and they just never get to where they want to get. Right? That's usually what happens. So the fifth thing I got from them was, like I said, he said don't try to live a comfortable life. I use the wording, seek the pain. Seek the pain. Okay, and so those are the five. It's actually a sixth thing. It's kind of hard to put into words. He also taught, if this makes sense, I've read other people say this, you got to be like a paradox. You got to be like a paradox. So, if, like I'm gonna use this is a little extreme, but I'm just kind of trying to throw it off what I mean by being a paradox. Let's say you are a gym bro and you're chasing babes on the weekend, but every Sunday you're in church, right? That seems like a paradox, right? That seems like a contradiction, right? That's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Okay? So you want to be a paradox. You want to be a paradox in your identity. Okay? There needs to be some sort of contradiction. And the reason there needs to be some sort of contradiction is because that is what actually makes a deep character. That's what gives you deep characters, when there is some sort of contradiction. And you're not trying to eliminate the contradiction, you're trying to embrace the contradiction. Okay? So he worded it, be a hypocrite. That's how he worded it. I word it as being a living paradox. Okay, that's, you got to embrace that. You got to embrace the idea that you are a living paradox. Okay. The other thing I would do if I really was gonna say, for identity, for having an identity in this. So we got that core, right? We understand we got to be penis pumping gym bros. We understand we got to be banging babes with a screening mentality, and we understand that we need to be making money through marketing. Okay, we understand that. That's the core of our identity. But what makes us individuals within that group is, I like to word this. You got to have 5 hobbies. Okay, 5 hobbies. So let me give you some hobbies. Right, let me give you some hobbies. I like to go salsa dancing. That is a hobby. Okay, that is very unique to me. I do like, I call it poetry. I would really say I like wordplay. Like if you ever, sometimes if you hear this channel or see some of the video titles, you can tell there's some wordplay putting in now. I like that. I like studying that. That's fun. I think that's fun. Play Warhammer 40K. That's another hobby. I like to go swimming and dog walks. Those are other. I kind of consider them the same thing. Those are other hobbies. I like to get tattoos. Those are hobbies, right? These make up me, right? I probably could think of other things, but basically, guys, you're gonna. Another way of saying is identity is how many roles in life are you or can you put in. Now you can't take infinite amount of roles, responsibilities. So let me rephrase that. You got, how many responsibilities are you going to take on in life? So I am responsible to keeping to a diet and gym routine. I am responsible to talking to girls when I want them. I am responsible in learning and implementing marketing, right? What are your responsibilities, right? That's going to make up your identity. And you should have, I would argue 3. I would argue 3, 4. I want to try to take too much. Because you can spread yourself thin. Like you're doing so much, you're not good at anything, right? So that is the core of the identity, okay? So let's kind of keep going on to the kind of keep going on. So eventually, though, the website has something I call the long decline. And decline occurs because Chris has other business ventures that require more of his time. So he has to go take care of that. Plus, he starts having a family. He gets married. All this fine. This is all natural progression, right? He did what he set out to do, and he left behind his work for others to study and follow. Um, but his absence caused a long decline. Okay, and eventually, after years of him being gone, the site is down. The site is not. Let me take that. The site is offline. It is not, or locked behind a password, I should say. It's not gone. It's been locked, and we can't get back in. The gates of Eden are shut. We are exiled from it, and that is that. So where does this leave us? Where does this leave me? Where does this leave this show? In a way, I kind of feel like I am an emissary from that place, right? I don't know if that site will ever come back on. I hope it does, just so, because I think it's good to kind of touch base with the old crew here and there. But even if it's not, there are some of us that remember it, and we still talk about the things we learned from that place, and we try to pass it on because it's kind of, I feel like it's getting tough. I think it's getting tougher out there for people in general. I think a couple things have happened. One, people are just generally less healthy. Okay. This is not debatable. We're fat. We're over fat. We're in too much debt. We're too fat, and we're too stressed. Right? We're just not healthy. We're not healthy. I also feel that men and women have lost each other. There's a separation that has occurred. Okay. Guys don't know how to talk to girls, and girls are just yearning for men to be back in this world. They're yearning it. And then the last thing, like I said, I think people are just getting poorer and poorer. So in a way, the things I talk about on this channel is really trying to tackle the unhealthiness of the individual. I really would like my fellow gym bros to do great in life. Or I'd like them to get stronger. I'd like them to get healthier in terms of body fat. I'd like them to find that partner that they so want. I'd like them to make more money. Because people who really dedicate themselves to the gym life, I don't think there is a lot of them. So it's kind of the purpose of this channel. Well, anyways, guys, that's all I have for tonight. And I will see you guys on the next live stream. Thank you for joining me.